Over the course of 4 decades and 800 episodes, Saturday Night Live has been among the most influential comedy shows in the history of American TV. It's produced countless catchphrases and iconic characters. Dozens of stars like Bill Murray, Amy Poehler, Eddie Murphy, Tina Fey, Will Ferrell, and Leslie Jones, and even one real-life senator.
Al Franken.
But what do you really know about the iconic sketch show? Here's the untold truth of SNL. Johnny Carson forced NBC to create it. In the 70s, Johnny Carson's Tonight Show was the biggest show on television. That gave him all the leverage he needed to renegotiate his contract and shorten his commitment from 5 shows a week to 4. That meant that NBC couldn't broadcast Tonight Show reruns on Saturdays anymore, since they'd need them for Fridays. The network's solution? To create a late-night variety show geared to a young, hip audience. Executives tapped 30-year-old Canadian comedy writer Lorne Michaels, best known for his work on an Emmy-winning Lily Tomlin special. By October 1975, the show was ready, though not ready for prime time.
And the not ready for prime time players.
The Name Game. During the first season, the show was originally called simply NBC's Saturday Night. That's because the name Saturday Night Live was already in use. Sportscaster Howard Cosell hosted an ABC primetime variety show with that name.
Lee Majors, he'll be with us tonight on Saturday Night Live.
Considering that most people today don't even remember it existed, it goes without saying that ABC's Saturday Night Live wasn't a hit. But when that show was cancelled, NBC snapped up the title. Muppet Madness. In its early years, SNL was a true variety show. Jim Henson's Muppets were frequent guests on the late-night circuit in the mid-70s, so it only made sense to include them. But we're not talking about Kermit, Fozzie, and Miss Piggy here. Instead, Henson and his crew created new monstrous adult-oriented creatures for a segment called The Land of Gorge.
What's the matter, privy breath?
Scrid, our fair land of Gorge is on the brink of default.
Unfortunately, the segment tended to grind each show to a halt, as it wasn't considered as fresh as the show's traditional sketches. The Muppets were gone after the first season. That's okay, since we got The Muppet Show in 1976. The audition process. Comedy hotbeds like the Groundlings in Los Angeles or the Upright Citizens Brigade in New York often arrange showcases for top talent who might be a good fit for the show, and SNL talent scouts attend.
So, I'm just going to tell you our special. We have a roasted portobello ragu. It is savory and sweet. Although, I should tell you, the first time I had this dish, I got a little backed up.
If they like what they see, they invite the performers to an audition on the SNL stage. Hopefuls have 10 minutes to do stand-up or present at least 2 original characters and celebrity impressions.
It's a bus-a-thon! We're raising money while we're on the bus!
It's been really cool, like, getting to hang out with my dad and, like, go out on the road and stuff like that.
Among some famous faces who auditioned but didn't make the cut, Jim Carrey, 13-time host John Goodman, Kevin Hart, Stephen Colbert, Aubrey Plaza, Louis C.K., Lisa Kudrow, Donald Glover, Kel Mitchell, and Zach Galifianakis, just to name a few.
I have a new headshot. It's a scratch and sniff, and it smells like failure and onions.
Entertainment Weekly reports Jennifer Aniston was offered a slot on the show in the mid-90s, but opted to do Friends instead. Probably a smart move. Things got weird with Francis Ford Coppola. For decades, each episode of SNL has basically followed the same format. A bunch of standalone sketches, a couple of musical performances, and weekend updates. In 1986, that all went out the window, but just once. Acclaimed director Francis Ford Coppola was the host, and the through line of the episode was that Coppola was directing the show.
Mr. Coppola, I presume?
It's Coppola.
Don't give me line readings!
As far as experiments go, it was kind of interesting. Too bad it wasn't very funny.
This pathetic troupe of upstart crows is the final remnant of live television, hanging by a thread!
It's very sad, isn't it?
Yup. Short films. Sure, SNL's main draw is the fact that it's live, but its pre-taped segments like fake commercials and animated shorts have been a show staple from the beginning.
The ex-presidents. George Bush.
Read my lips. You're toast.
Ronald Reagan.
Just say no to pissing me off.
In the 70s, Albert Brooks rejected Lorne Michaels' offer to be the show's permanent host, and instead offered to create short films.
At best, I'd say you have a year to live.
I know. I overheard you tell Dr. Franklin.
You already knew, and you made me go through the agony of telling you this? You are an inconsiderate and thoughtless woman.
Mockumentary master Christopher Guest also contributed short features as a cast member in the 80s. And The Lonely Island brought more than just Andy Samberg to SNL. They also brought comic raps like 2005's viral Lazy Sunday.
Cousin, I told you that I'm crazy for these cupcakes, cousin. Yo, where's the movie playing? Upper West Side, dude. Well, let's hit up Yahoo Maps to find the dopest route.
Legacy. After 40 years of television, it's impossible to ignore the effect SNL has had on pop culture, and even America at large. For one recent example, there's Tina Fey's show 30 Rock, which was loosely based on her time as the first female head writer of SNL. It ran on NBC for 7 seasons, racked up 11 Emmy nominations, and provided us with some of the most memorable television characters in recent years.
Tracy, you do know that Googling yourself means looking yourself up on the internet.
I did not know that. That explains why Liz Lemon was so cool the other day. Liz Lemon, you mind if I Google myself in your office?
Sure, Tracy.
Can I use your computer?
How else are you gonna do it?
Not only that, but in 2008, Faye came back to SNL as a guest to take on the role of vice presidential nominee Sarah Palin.
You went to the UN for the first time. How was that experience?
Oh, you know, it was just amazing. So many interesting people. Though I have to say, I was disheartened by how many of them were foreigners. I promise that when Senator McCain and I are elected, we're gonna get those jobs back in American hands.
In addition to earning the show some great ratings, a study after the fact showed that Faye's impression of Palin actually had an impact on the candidate's image among Americans, and possibly contributed to her and running mate John McCain's loss of the 2008 election. That's a pretty huge impact for a weekly comedy show to have, isn't it?
Oh, hey, you know, sure.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more videos like the one you just saw, and leave us a comment to tell us your favorite SNL sketch.